if opioids were all legal and the distribution regulated by government, would that make it easier for your agencies, and might it potentially bring more help for addicted kids and their families?
You know, the problem, and you know this, Paul, 4 out of 5 heroin addicts now started today, recent addicts started with opioids, right? Started with OxyContin. In many cases, they may actually have been prescribed oxycodone for pain relief. In other cases, you know, youngsters get it from their parents' medicine cabinets. But it is so highly addictive that what we've seen is that it becomes way too expensive for anyone to manage, and so they quickly move over to heroin, which is much cheaper. A pill of oxycodone can be as much as $30. A bag of heroin, the same hit, can be as low as $3. So I don't think that's going to really solve it.
So I think legalization would help. I know the city of Ithaca is creating an area where people can shoot up and not be harassed, and there are people who will help them and agencies that help them there. Do you think that kind of approach would harm reduction work?
I am not an advocate for that. I've heard about what's going on in Ithaca, and I'm happy to defer to some of my experts here if either of them want to speak to that, but I don't think that's the way to address this issue. I do hear you, though. This is not, we cannot just address the supply side. We do have to address the demand issue, and that's one of the reasons we asked the Phillips to speak here today, because that has to be addressed.
Protocols when you're at the scene of an overdose. Is there any kind of direction being given about how to deal with witnesses who might be able to help you find the suppliers but who are in possession of drugs and are committing a crime? Are you directing your officers to not arrest people you might otherwise arrest so that they can lead you to the source?
So we're going to navigate that issue and work through it. I think we've found in most cases the people that call when someone is in distress or is overdosing are often not the supplier. It's often a family member, a friend.
What I meant is there's someone there who is using drugs. Instead of arresting them for using drugs, might you try to cultivate them as a source to find the supplier?
That is certainly an investigative technique that we often use, yes. The goal here is to work up the chain, identify the supplier, and get this particularly lethal heroin off the street.